Hello everyone, hope that you're all well. Welcome to today's class. Thank you so much for the lovely messages and the kind donations that we've been receiving. As always, it means so much to us and we both really appreciate that, so thank you. So today's class is going to be the second one of the chakras. So we're moving up now, looking at the Sacral Chakra, which is also called Swadhisthana. It's a really nice one. It relates to a lot of movement. It relates to the water element. So it's quite good as we've been having a bit of rain lately, so a bit of a difference to the weather. And it's really nice. We went for a walk the other week and it started to rain and there was something that just felt really nice about just feeling the rain on the body. It felt quite refreshing. So we'll bring that about the water element into the class today. So for today's class, you don't need a belt, but if you've got a block, a blanket, just for sitting or for knees, then that'd be great. Once you've got everything that you need, we'll start off lying down in your supine position. So just coming down, making sure that you feel comfortable. Make sure that you've got enough room so that you can relax on the earth. And you're either going to bend the legs if you need support for your back, or you can allow your legs to lengthen out. You're just paying attention to the shoulders, maybe just moving the shoulders and then just softening and relaxing. Letting the arms be heavy, letting the fingers and the hands be nice and soft. And let your eyes just close from here. And as much as you can, just relax your face. Just feel now this is your whole 45-minute session, that you've got time for yourself. To just work with the subtle energies of the body and just starting to be able to just feel yourself being present right now, just in the moment that you've reached on the earth. Just soften the tummy and just feeling what's supporting the earth right now. And just feeling that first feeling of just being able to slow down. And don't worry if you've got thoughts or anything that's popping in and out of your head. Just simply allow them to be. And when they're ready, they might just allow themselves just to release. So we're going to start off with the breath. So we're going to watch the breath first of all. And just start to notice your natural breath. What the inhales and the exhales are feeling like today. We're going to spend a few moments just being here. Just let yourself keep watching, observing, not judging, but just simply noticing the breath. So the sacral chakra that we're going to work today, a lot of it is going to be associated with movement, how we can use creative movement, how we can use that to just start to get some more energy into the body. Sacral chakra is a really good one. It relates to our sense of feeling. It can be joy, connecting to those feelings. It can be sensuality. So the actual position where we find this, it's beyond the pubic bottom. And we feel it as well. It's the lower back, the abdomen, associates to the hips, the inner thighs and the pelvis. So some really nice words that are going to work, and you might just say some of these words when you do the poses today or think about them. It's fluidity, movement, pleasure, creativity, yielding, change, and the water to flow. So we're going to just start to work the breath a little bit more, just to start to bring a bit more feeling of that flow and that maybe that water element. So just start to breathe in and out through the nose while keeping the rest of the body nice and relaxed. So if you're familiar with the Ujjayi breath, you can connect to your Ujjayi breath. That's when we make that restriction in the back of the throat, and it's a bit of a noise that we hear as well. So that's also called the oceanic breath. And if you're not getting that Ujjayi breath today, just your breath is going to be great as well, just tuning in with that. And you might start to think about, as you do this breath, thinking about the sea. So if you imagine that you was lying on the beach and you was imagining the waves, the sea, as it draws into the ocean, and then as it comes back out into the beach. So you might feel that as you inhale, as you breathe in, gathering up all that energy. You might feel it around the belly area. Then breathing out, feeling that release. I'm going to spend a few more moments here, maybe just connecting to that water element. Feeling that breath as it just moves into the inhales and flows into the exhales. Another really nice one as well to work the breath, so it might start to bring the breath a little bit longer from here. As you breathe in, you can imagine that the breath moves up the back of the body, so the spine, up to the crown of the head, and then it goes over the body. And as you breathe out, you can imagine that exhale releasing down the front body. And we'll do it again. So inhale, feel it moving under the body, moving up the spine, up to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, imagine that it's just releasing right down to the front of the body, across the chest, down to the hips. We'll do just a couple more like that, just focusing on that breath. Feeling how we're starting to maybe lengthen the breath, how we're making our deep connection to the breath. And as always, the breath is going to be really important in your poses today. It's going to keep the focus. It's going to keep us moving as well. Just make this your last one from here. And then when you're ready, just return back to your natural breath. Just begin to bend your legs, and from here we can hug the knees in towards the chest, drawing them in. Just let your back press down towards the earth. I'm just going to make a few circles from here. So just a nice movement would be, the legs are bent. You're going to just cross the ankles from here. Doesn't matter which one. And the knees are open and your hands are going to be onto the knees, cupping your knees. And you're going to just start to draw just some circles with the knees. And it's quite nice just having your ankles crossed as well. It just brings a little bit of sense of stability while we do this movement. And hopefully it feels really nice on your spine. And then reversing that movement, so we're going the other direction from here. Just coming back to the breath, and you can always use your Ujjayi breath today if you find that that's going to work for you, or just nice, long, slow inhales and exhales. And then from here, we'll release the feet. We'll work it a bit more into the hips. Hands are still cupping the knees. So this time we're going to open the knees out to the side so the feet can be apart. You're going to press the knees away. Draw the knees back in and back in towards the chest. So we're doing these nice opening movements from here. Just continue just to go in that same direction first of all, a nice few rounds. And relaxing your legs as much as you can so that you can really get into your hips from here. And hopefully it feels really nice on the back. I love this one. It always feels so good on my lower back. And then reversing the movements from here. You might like to just think about your hips and your inner thighs today. So that's where a lot of attention is going to go in these movements today. Last one. And then coming back to the centre, just drawing them in just for a moment, knees in towards the chest. And then from here, we're going to move into our Baddha Konasana, our cobbler pose. So soles of the feet going to come together, knees opening out to the side. Arms can just rest down by the sides of the body and just move them a little way so that you've got room, because we're going to do an opening and closing movement of the knees in a moment. And this movement that we're going to do, so a bit of a flapping butterfly, is going to create a lot of energy around your groins, inner thighs. So that's what we're trying to do at the moment. We're trying to wake up this energy, and that's what chakras are. They're these vortexes of energy that we start to really work on them. So we'll take an inhale with your knees open out to the sides. And then as you breathe out, bring your feet back to the floor, knees up towards the sky. So work with that breath. So it's breathing out, opening the knees. And then we're coming back with the knees to the sky. So you're going to take it's the inhale to open out the knees. And then breathing out, feet to the floor, knees up to the sky. Inhale, opening out the knees. And then breathing out, feet to the floor, knees up to the sky. Just do that a few more times. Just keep it nice and slow at the moment. So you're working towards matching these movements out with your nice, long inhales and exhales. If you can, take your focus to your hips. Take your focus to the groins, the inner thighs. Can you feel maybe a bit of warmth as we start to just move the energy here, as we start to feel nice release into the hips? For many of us, we're quite tight in the hips. So this is going to be really nice to get a sense of release as well. Starting to feel that flow from one movement to the other. So your choice, after a few moments, you can either just keep it nice and slow like this, or we can start to speed up the movement so they start to become just a little bit quicker. We're still going to do the breath, so it might not be as long. If you're feeling too much energy is arising in this, or you're getting too tired around the hips, just release, draw your knees in towards the chest. We'll do a few more, just a few more from here. Good. I'm definitely feeling that now, so hopefully you're feeling it, especially around those inner thighs. And the next time that your knees open out, we're going to take a few extra breaths. Just let the knees open out now. Just settle into that still position. You might feel it feels good at this point to cross your thumbs and take your arms up and above the head just to open up your chest a bit more from here. And notice what that feels like, those movements that we've been doing around the hips. Take a few breaths. Breathe in and release them with every exhale. And then releasing the arms if the arms are behind you. Just support under the knees so you can help your knees back, help the feet back. And draw your knees back in towards your chest from here. So we're going to do a couple more poses on the floor. We're going to work into our flowing bridge, which is really going to be nice to wake up the hips. So that first chakra that we looked at, the root one last week, was all about grounding and feeling our energy through grounding. This time we're moving that energy up so we can start to move it and feel it flowing. So the feet hip distance apart. Make sure you've got room to reach the arms behind you. We'll match it up with our breath. Feet are pressing down. Inhale, we're going to lift the hips. The arms are going to lift. We're going to take the back of the hands behind us. And then breathing out, releasing the arms, taking the spine back down to the floor. So use your inhale to lift up, the arms float up, they come back behind. And breathing out, releasing, letting your spine come back down. So just carry on doing that inhale to lift from here. Breathing out, releasing down. So carry on in your own time, in your own breath. And think about this flowing movement. You might even like to think about just how this movement is connecting to that water element. So you're starting to feel the flow, not just of your hips, but also feeling it through the arms, through your shoulders, through the fingers, as if you're moving through water from here. So you feel these movements are unrestricted. We'll do the last one from here. You might wish to, on that last one, just hold it now just a little bit longer. You might need to press into the feet just a little bit more so that your knees are not falling out to the side. And then releasing the arms, and then you can let your spine come all the way back down. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest again. We're going to do the last position on the floor. So we're going to release into a really nice twist from here. So a couple of ways you can work it. If you're feeling that it's going to work better for the back, you can always just bend the legs, take the feet to the floor, take the knees to one side. Or we're going to lengthen out the legs from here. Make sure I've got enough room. Yeah, so legs are lengthened out. You're going to draw the right knee in towards the chest. And then you're going to place your foot onto the top of that left thigh. Remember, you can swap back to both feet on the floor, legs bent if you need to. Your left hand's going to come to the outside of that right knee. Your right arm, it can either reach out to the T shape if you've got room, or bend it in slightly if you need to. And then as you breathe out, we're going to start to encourage that knee to move over towards that left side. So we're starting to roll over to that side. You'll feel the hips just releasing over. Head can stay to the centre, or we can turn our head towards the right side. Just hold it there, nice few breaths. Think about using your exhale just to soften, let go a little bit more. And then we'll return back to the centre, release the arms. And then just bend in the legs. We're going to take your right, it's going to be your left knee in towards the chest. Your right leg's going to extend, or you're going to do both legs bent if that's better. Right hand's going to come to the outside of that left knee. Left arm's going to extend out to the side, or you can bend that arm. And then we're going to encourage that knee to move across the body. You might find it's a little way. You might release a bit more. If you've got anything like blocks or blankets, you can always support underneath that knee. And you can either keep the head where it is, or slowly let your head turn towards that left side. Just hold it there for a few more moments. Use your breath to release. Softening, yielding, letting go while you're in that pose. And then come back to the centre. You can hug both knees in towards the chest. Just having that bit of a rock from side to side. And then we'll move our way up into seated. So either rocking backwards and forwards, or just dropping the knees to one side, pressing into your hands, and then we'll come all the way up to seated from here. And you can take a nice easy cross-legged position from here, or lengthen out the legs if you need to. Set up nice and tall, relax the arms, let your eyes close. And for a moment, I just want you to visualise, connect with the colour orange. And orange is the colour associated with the Sacral Chakra. So in your mind's eye, think of a really nice, bright orange. You might be thinking of a ball of light and orange, or you might be thinking of your favourite flower that's orange, maybe a nice marigold. You could also think of a sunshine, like the sunrise or the sunset that's really nice and orange. And just focus on this orange just for a moment. You might see it, you might visualise it, feeling it around the hips area. Orange is a really positive, happy colour. It's the colour of joy. So if you wear stuff that is orange, or crystals, gemstones, citrine, anything like that, that is going to bring out these qualities. Just hold that orange, just picture it, really visualise that orange just for a few more moments. And then slowly release, let your eyes open. We're going to carry on doing a little bit of seated stuff from here. So you can do it other cross-legged, or if you need to lengthen out the legs, that's fine. Hands just rest on the knees. You can just take an inhale. You can send the chest forward from here, so you're arching the back. And then breathing out, drawing in the navel. You can just gaze down. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale to draw back. So we're using our breath and this movement to just start to rock our pelvis backwards and forwards from here. Notice what that feels like. So this chakra, Sacral Chakra, Swadhisthana, is all about feeling as well, and what we feel. So just connecting to that. Last one from here. And then we're going to just move it a little bit more, which is a really nice movement from here. So you can come forward. You can start to ease to, you can do the left side. You can draw back from here, and then moving all the way over to that right side. Send your chest forward, drawing back. So the idea of this is we're starting to get a bit more movement into the hips. And start to bend the arms more. We're thinking about how we can use movement, this flowing movement, to be created into the body. You might start to feel that you're really warming up the hips from here. Great one for the back as well. Remember what way you went, and just reverse that movement from here. You might use your exhale as you come back, and your inhale as you come forward, sending your heart forward. Just a few more rounds, so we're nice and even to that other side. Just think about what that feels like around the abdomen, around the hips, even around your lower back from here. Last one, and then come all the way up to seated. Going to work some side bends now, and we'll keep them flowing rather than holding them static again to wake up this energy around that sacral chakra. Either crossing legs or legs lengthened. Arms comes out to the side first of all, nice and lifted. So we're going to inhale. We're going to just lift up the arms from here. And then as you breathe out, right arm's going to come down, left arm's going to come over. And you're going to use your inhale to go all the way over to the other side. So this is your inhale when you go over towards that left side. And then breathing out, lifting up, go all the way over towards that right side. So inhale, you're going all the way over to your left side in that side bend stretch. Breathing out over towards that right side. Do it a few times in your own time, in your own breath, and start to feel that you're not too rigid in this movement. So you want to really start that you flow a bit more, so you create with flowing movement. When you create and work with creativity, flowing movement, it does help to work on our creativity side. So just a few more. I'm taking my my forearm down to the floor, but you don't have to. You can keep it higher up if that feels more appropriate. Just a couple more. Hopefully it feels really nice and releasing from here. Making this your last one. Over towards that left side. And then we'll come all the way back up. Bring your palms together above your head. Nice full inhale. And breathe out, bring your hands all the way back down towards the chest. So we'll release from here and we'll allow ourselves to move over into our all fours position. So you can pad up your knees if you need to from here. Nice spread hands, knees underneath the hips. Cat stretches first, so inhale, tailbone lifts, front of the body, the head lifts. Breathing out, rounding over, drawing to the navel, gaze back through the legs. 2 more, just like this. Inhale to lift, creating space around the hips. Breathing out, rounding over. Let your heads be nice and relaxed. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round over. So you can either continue to do a few more cat stretches if that feels more appropriate, or you round over, breathing out, taking some weight back as if you was going to do child's pose. Then bending the arms, keeping quite low. You can come forward this time and then inhale into that cat movement. So breathing out, you're going to come back into that child's pose. If it does feel good, bend the arms, keep low. Inhale, coming up into that heart opener. So do 2 more like that. Breathing out, coming back. Inhale, coming forward. We're trying to create all this lovely movement in the body today. Last one. Inhale. Good. And then breathing out. You can hold your child's pose just for a few breaths. And it might feel nice to walk your hands out just a little bit further to get a really nice stretch along the arms today. Just hold it there for a moment. Just notice what it feels like when you can be more still. When you pause, tap into your subtle energy. And then moving back into your all fours from here. We're going to find our downward dog. So we're going to tuck the toes under. You can feel free to come to the wall if you need to. Press up into your downward dog. And you might take a moment just to walk out through the heels. Starting to just release the back of the legs. Feeling some movement around the legs, around the hips. And you can either continue to walk out through the legs or take some weight back towards the heels and letting your legs lengthen a bit more. And then the next movement would be to just sway from side to side. So you drop your heels to one side, keep a really nice bend in your legs. Coming back to the centre, inhale. Breathing out, you can sway them over towards the opposite side. So if it doesn't work for the hips, just walking out through the legs might feel really nice today instead. Just starting to feel, waking up this energy that we have in our body. And that's what the chakras is all about. It's about tapping into this energy. Just a couple more. And then coming back to the downward dog. Coming back now down to your all fours from here. Just wake up the arms and the shoulders a bit more for some of the poses, which is going to be really nice to tap into more of that water element. So all fours, And then you're going to take your right arm more out in front. So you're going to inhale. Then as you breathe out, creep that arm back as if you're coming into child's pose. We'll lift the arms. So you're circling the arms. Inhaling to come forward. Breathing out to come back. Inhale to come forward. So it does feel a bit like you're swimming in this pose. Just a couple more on that side. Nice movements of your shoulders from here. You're feeling that you're working with more of a flowing movement today rather than being still. And then we'll swap over hands so you can start to come to all fours again. Left arm can come back forward rather, a bit more. So inhale, then as you breathe out, you can start to bring that arm back. We're going to lift the arm circling. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to release back. We'll do a couple more. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to release back. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to release back. And then just hold child's pose for a few more breaths from here. You're going to return again to your all fours position from here. You can pad your knees if you need to at this point. We're going to work our balance in this position. We're going to extend out through your right leg from here and give it a nice stretch out. And then we're going to bend our leg from here. And then just making sure that we don't drop too much weight into the opposite arm. You're going to just open out your right knee to the side. You might just take your gaze without straining your head. You can either keep it here or you might allow yourself to lengthen out with that leg. A little bit of a playful balance from here. So if it's something that might work, you can either hold it here, draw into the navel, press into that left hand. You might be able to lift that other hand. You might be able to bend that leg. You might be able to extend that leg again. It's quite a strong one on your hips. And then slowly releasing, bending that leg, taking that knee back down to the floor. I'll turn over so you can see the other side. So it's going to be your left leg is going to extend out this time. And we can work at all different stages, just see what feels good. Bending that leg, you might hold it here. You might be working towards drawing that knee open to the side. We might be holding it here, or you might be able to extend out with that leg. The other bit, last bit of the balance would be to press into your left hand, draw into the navel. You might feel it's better to rebend that leg first. Take hold of your toe or the ankle. You can extend out with that leg. Keep breathing. And then releasing, taking your hands back, taking that knee back. Open out your knees just a bit wider from here and release back into a child's pose. A few nice breaths. You might visualise that colour orange maybe around your hips or your inner thighs right now. A really vibrant, bright orange. And then slowly coming back to your all fours. We're going to work next of all just a few back bends. So if it does feel okay, what you're going to be all fours from here, but you're going to then step your hands forward of the shoulders. So you're going to take an inhale, and then as you breathe out, you're going to start to sink your thighs down. You can come into a back arch from here, and then breathing out, coming back to your child's pose. So it's an inhale to come forward. Breathing out to come back. And you haven't got to come into that full back bend. It might just be a little bit of a back bend without coming all the way down. You might prefer to come down to the floor and just work some cobras from here or sphinx if it's not for your wrists from here. Try and let yourself think about this movement that you've got in your hips from here, waking up this energy, hips, thighs, inner groins. The last one from here. And then slowly allow yourself all the way down to the floor from here. We're going to allow ourselves to work a bit more into our back bends from here. So a bit of a variation of a back bends would be to take our fingers, take our hands forward of the shoulders, slightly wider as well. And if you haven't got no issues with the fingers, we're going to come up onto the fingertips. If not, keep the hands down. Legs are a little way apart. We're going to slowly start to inhale as we lift up. It might be quite low today, or you might be able to lift a little bit higher. And then breathing out, slowly releasing down. So we're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale to lift up. Think about what's pressing down to the earth. Breathing out to lower down. Another one, inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Last one, inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Let your hands come back underneath the shoulders. Press back to the all fours. We're going to come into our downwards dog again. We're going to have a few breaths from here. We're going to extend your right leg out behind you, 3-legged downwards dog. Going to bend that leg and you're going to step that foot in between the hands. Going to ground that back foot down. Think about grounding as we come up into our warrior position. Let the arms lift from here. If it works for you today, you're going to from here come onto the toes of that back foot, lifting the heel. Let your toes face to the front, heel to the back. And inhale as you breathe out, releasing the arms behind you, looking down. Inhale to lift up. Do that 2 more times. Breathing out to lower. Inhale to lift up. Breathing out to lower. Inhale to lift up. And then slowly taking your hands back to the hips, releasing over. You can step back into your downward dog, or you might come to the all fours first and find downward dog from that position. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So left leg extends behind. Going to bend that leg. You can either come back to the all fours or stepping that foot in between the hands. We'll ground that back foot down first of all for our warrior. Going to lift up, rooting down, drawing up, raising the arms so we can take an inhale from here. And an exhale. Continue to breathe. If it feels an option this time, turning the toes of the back foot so we move it into a high lunge position, heel lifted, or you can keep that heel down. Inhale, and as you breathe out, we'll release over that leg. Let the arms point back behind. Inhale to lift up. Do 2 more. Breathing out to release. Inhale to lift up. So breathing out to release. Last one to stay lifted from here. You're going to take your hands back to the hips. You can fold over that leg. You're going to take yourself back to that downward dog for a few breaths. Then we'll make our way to standing. So walking your feet towards the hands. Hands on the hips, lifting up. And then we'll come all the way up to standing. We're going to work a forward fold and we're going to add a nice sway in that forward fold. So separate your feet, hip distance apart, feet facing forward. Take a lift with your arms to lift up as you inhale. As you breathe out, soften the knees. You're going to come into a forward fold from here. And you can either keep the hands on the hips or we're going to fold the arms today. With a few breaths, we're going to just slowly softness in the knees as we sway from side to side. And as you do that, try and relax your shoulders as much as you can. Just feel this movement, that you're tapping into this flowing, this creative movement that we can access through the Sacral Chakra. Just a few more from here. It's great one if you've got tight shoulders. It helps to loosen up, releasing all that area just by letting everything just release a bit more. Come back to the centre, hands on the hips, and we'll lift ourselves all the way up to standing. Shoulders nice and released. So we're going to stand on the long side. We're going to be facing the long side of our mat from here. We're going to open out our feet into warrior legs. You can take them a little bit wider if that is okay. You're going to take your right foot all the way out. Left foot is forward, raising the arms. And we're going to bend into that right leg. So just find warrior first of all. So we're going to work with just a sequence of reverse warrior, side angle stretch, matching it up with the breath. So as you inhale, your back hand's going to come down and we'll take that top arm up for a reverse warrior. And then breathing out, going straight into a side angle stretch with that top arm coming over. So that 2 more times. Inhale to lift up into reverse warrior. Breathing out into extended side angle stretch. One more. Inhale, reverse warrior. Breathing out, extended side angle stretch. And then just lift yourself with the arms coming all the way up. Hands on the hips, releasing that leg, feet to the front. We'll work through exactly the same the other side. Feeling quite warm. Hopefully you are feeling quite warm with these movements as well. So left foot is turning out, right foot is forward. The arms raise up. We can find warrior by bending through that left leg. Back foot pressing down. We'll take that inhale to find reverse warrior. Back hand down, top arm lifts. Breathing out into extended side angle stretch. You can take that top arm over. So it's that inhale, moving up, lifting up into reverse warrior. Breathing out into extended side angle stretch. One more. Inhale for your reverse warrior. Exhale into your extended side angle stretch. Use your inhale and the arms to lift all the way up. Feet to the front. And let your hands release down. We're going to come forward, so if your stance is too long, you can bring it in shorter. We're going to do a nice sway, like fold with the arms when we do come down. Feet facing forward or turn the big toes in slightly. Hands on the hips. Use a nice inhale to lift up. Exhale, soften the knees, folding forward, hinging at the hips. We're coming forward. Going to fold the arms, hold on to opposite elbows, and then we're just going to slowly swaying from side to side. Make sure that you haven't got no tension, no strain in the neck at all. And think about this flowing energy that you're creating through allowing yourself to move in your poses today. Tapping in with this feeling of this joy, this creativity that you can create by waking up that sacral chakra. Back to the centre, hands can come back to the hips, and then we'll lift and come all the way back to standing, shoulders nice and relaxed. From here, you might need to turn your feet in just ever so slightly if they're super wide. You're going to come into a squat, so we're going to open out the feet, high squat. You're going to turn the feet out, so that when we bend our knees, roughly tracking over your second toe, grounding down through the feet, hands on your hips. Drawing the navel, you're thinking about maybe lengthening your tailbone. Nice strong base, that's going to be the root chakra, these feet and strength, but also feeling that we're working the hips, the energy is moving up into that area. You're going to do a bit of flow movement with the arms. Often what happens when you do the arms, you kind of forget that how strong your feet are working in your legs, so it takes off the focus on that. So we're going to take the right arm down towards we're going to take the right arm across the body from here. Left arm's going to lift, and then we take a side bend stretch over towards that right side. Inhale to come back to the centre. Let your arms extend out. So breathing out, your left arm's going to come across, your right arm's going to come over. And then inhale, come back to the centre. We'll repeat that a few more times. Exhale, right arm across, left arm over. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, your left arm and your right arm comes across. And then lifting up. We'll stay lifted. Hands can come onto the hips. We'll lift up. Maybe your legs are shaking like mine. Take your feet to the front. Heel toe your feet back together. And we'll come back to the front of the mat. Inhale, so we'll lift up to rise up, lift the chest. Then exhale, releasing, calming forward over the legs from here. You're going to bend the legs and you're going to come back down to an all fours position. We're going to work some lizard position in here, which is really good for getting some movement into the hips, and we'll keep a little bit of movement rather than keeping it static. If it's not for your knees today, your lizard, swap yourself over, come onto your back. And instead, you can do a bit of a position where you draw the knee in towards the chest. When we do movement in our lizard, you can do some nice movements in your hips from here. And when we hold the position, you can turn it into happy baby pose. So that's for people who are not doing the pose. Let yourself get into that. If you're coming to do lizard, you can pad your back knee if you need to. We'll start with your right foot coming forward into a lunge. So make sure it's not too close. You want to step that foot nice and forward. You're going to get some really nice space from here. You can tuck the toes if it works with that back foot, just a little bit of stability. And then you can take your foot just slightly moving it out towards that right side. Remember, if you're doing it on your back, draw your knee in towards the chest from here. You can have other blocks or hands on the floor. And then we're going to start to draw some circles with that knee from here. So they might be really small circles, or you might start to find you can get these movements a bit more from here. Reverse your movement, so you're going to go into that other side from here. Think about your hips, your inner thighs, your groins, all that area that you're waking up from here. And then the next bit of this would be, you can tuck your toes of that back foot. You can do a movement where you rock backwards and forwards. Just be really careful of your knee. Don't do anything that your body doesn't feel ready to do today. And then we're going to hold it for a few breaths from here. You can release that back foot. Those of you that are on your back, you can come into a half happy baby pose on your right side. Just hold it there a few moments. And then we're going to come back to the all fours. So we're going to repeat exactly the same on your left side. It's a good one, isn't it, to wake up the energy. You can really feel it. Left leg is going to step forward. And then from here, you can take your foot a little bit wider from here. If you wanted this time, you can take your hands. You can either take them to the side, or you can take both hands to the inside of the leg, just to create a little bit more movement. So you can pad your back knee, and you can tuck the toes, that back foot, and just start to draw some circles with that knee. If you're doing this movement on the back, then that knee's drawing in towards the chest, just starting to circle out into that hip. And then that other movement, so circling out in that other direction from here. That's it. And then that last bit of it, you might just stay here, or you might tuck the toes, that back foot. If it works, you can rock backwards and forwards from here, waking up even more energy. And then the last bit of this B would be to release that back knee, release that foot. You're going to hold it just for a few breaths from here. If you're on your back on this one, then just come into your half happy baby pose on that left side. And then slowly releasing from here. You're going to allow yourself, if you're on your back, let yourself come up to seated from here. I'm just going to finish off in a really nice twist from here. So legs are extended. You're going to bend your left leg from here, and you can take that foot across. Next option would be, you can always wrap that foot around, or you might keep it extended. So we're going to work a really nice twist from here. You're going to sit up nice and tall from here, nice and lifted. You're going to extend up with your right arm. Your left hand's going to come behind you. As you breathe out, you can take that arm, elbow to the outside of that knee, or you can wrap the arm, and then you're easing yourself round into that twist. So it should hopefully feel really good on the back now, and should feel really good around the hips. Keep breathing from here, feeling maybe that stillness, but also that energy that you've created, still moving, still flowing. Come back to the centre. You can always just do a bit of a derotation from here. And then releasing, coming back. You're going to extend out with that leg. Come back to both legs out. And then we'll do the same on that opposite side. So bend the right leg. Taking that foot over. You're going to take that foot behind. You're going to sit up nice and tall from here. This time it's going to be left arm lifts. Right arm comes behind. You're going to take that elbow either across that knee or hold onto that thigh. And we're going to ease into that lovely twist from here. Just keep breathing. Lower your back shoulder if it lifted. Nice, long, slow breaths. Think about maybe that energy that you've created in your class today. And then releasing, allowing yourself to lengthen out the legs, release. And then just for a few moments, coming back to a cross-legged position. Let your arms rest on the knees and let your eyes close from here. And if you can, go back to visualising that lovely orange colour. And then we're going to use that, a bit of visualisation, to draw the colour orange into our aura. So the aura is the subtle energy that extends to around the body. You might imagine it maybe 5 inches around the body, or some people even feel it, that it extends further out. So take a nice slow inhale in. And as you breathe out, feel that you're extending out this orange, beautiful bright orange, into the aura around the body. Inhale, nice long slow breath in. And exhale, extending this really bright orange light into the aura around the body. Couple more inhale to breathe in. Breathing out, feel this orange extending around the aura of the body and your subtle energy. Just carry on doing that for a few more moments from here, until eventually that you feel the whole body is surrounded by this really, really bright orange, vibrant light. The vibrations of colour works really powerfully. So this orange makes us feel quite positive. It connects us to the joys of life. It's a happy colour. It connects us to happiness. And when we visualise this colour as well, that it affects other people who come into our space. You might even send this orange out into anyone that needs it right now, so you feel that parts of your aura start to extend out in different directions, maybe reaching someone who needs it right now. And then slowly just coming back to your breath. Without disturbing the body, just let yourself roll down to the floor. Take anything extra that you need as you roll all the way down. And either allowing your legs to release out, letting them relax, and letting the arms come out to the sides of the body. You bend your legs if you need extra support for the back. And just for the next few moments, just be still. Just completely absorbing all that you've taken in your practice today. All that movement, that visualisation, that tapping into creativity. Just notice how you feel. As we said, that the Sacral Chakra is all about feeling. So really nice affirmations that resonate in this chakra is, I go with the flow of life. I embrace who I am. I flow with life. Joy fills my being. Just feel this softness as the body releases down towards the earth. So slowly returning back to the breath and the body. By all means, if you've got time, if you feel that the body needs to rest longer, just rest as long as you need to. If you are ready to come up, allow yourself just to slowly start to reach the arms behind you. Wake up the fingers, wake up the toes. Release the arms, bend the legs, hug the knees in towards the chest. Notice maybe what the hips are feeling like. Maybe they feel a bit more released, a little bit more open. When we do hip work, we can have a real good sense of maybe even releasing anything that we've been holding into the body. Some things that we've been storing that have just, they need to let go of. Just slowly rolling over onto the right side of the body. And then bring yourself all the way up into your easy seated position. Let the hands just do what they naturally want to do. Let them rest. Sit up nice and tall. Notice what you feel like. You might even be feeling that orange again. You might even feel it. It's beautiful orange that you've connected to today. You might feel it extending out still through the aura of the body. So colours are really, really good to play about with. So definitely have a go at this one. If you've got a few minutes a day, imagine that you're breathing out the colour orange into your aura and connect with those feelings of joy and flow. Just going with the last affirmation from here. So just silently saying the words to yourself. I embrace who I am. Let your hands come together, seal the hands in towards your chest, the heart centre. And take a soft bow down towards the head. Let the eyes softly blink open. And as you inhale, lift your head, lift your heart. Namaste. Let all that creativity and joy go into the rest of the day and use it in any ways that you need to. Have a great week.